First of all, I'd like to thank the membership for having cast all of their votes. And quite clearly, we had more than 50% of people responding who were eligible to vote. And thank you so much, Dr. Dangensi, for leading the elections committee. It was a profound 4 years that we've had, as I expressed in the presidential report. And what I'd like to share with you now is a little bit of our vision. I first want to thank and congratulate the eligible candidates who are now going to become part of the Managing Council for 2021 to 2025 as we continue to grow exponentially in this society and continue with its professionalization into the next generation. We know who the incoming members are, so I won't reiterate these, but what I will say is that never is it going to be more important in the growth of the society to count on our executive officers than it is in this term as we continue to grow the ISSPR, the journal, and the international initiatives that we have before us. I also wish to extend congratulations to the wonderful new additions that we have to our members at large, as well as those who have been retained from the previous term, so that we could develop a cohesive group of people. And as you see from the list of names, highly recognizable, a lot of well-known practitioners, a lot of well-known scientists who work with Olympic teams, and I welcome you full-heartedly onto this Managing Council. I also wish to thank, as Dr. C did, the outgoing members, particularly as I did last in the presidential report, Dr. C, for his guidance over the last 4 years, and all of the officers and members who are leaving us and will be greatly missed in the coming 4 years. Our organizational committee one, obviously, one of the benefits that we had was we opened up our organizational structure to the membership, and I believe that one of the next steps that we have to do is we have to relinquish further control and have more reporting measures, with committee chairs now perhaps no longer being managing council members on some of these committees, but actually being members of the organization at large. Now, there are certain committees that will be retained and overseen by the Managing Council, and yet there are certain committees that I believe we have the expertise and the capacity within our membership to help lead, and then therefore to encourage people forth into leadership positions in the next generation of the ISSP. A second benefit, obviously, is this journal, which has now gone from a quarterly journal to 6 times a year, thanks to a wonderful collaboration with Routledge, Taylor, and Francis. And now, thanks to guidance and suggestion of Dr. Yu-Kai Chang, we have a Congress supplement, which is also another membership benefit for those who attend the Congress to find themselves in the supplement of this well-regarded journal. We're going to continue on with the growing of the journal, and it will be Q1, I would expect, in the coming year. Benefit 3 will be the ambassadors program and the importance of capacity building. Our next step is in-person and virtual work with developing countries, and we need to really focus on targeting regions, and particularly as Dr. Athanasios Amaziatou has instilled in us, and before him, Dr. Ikulayu instilled in us as well, is we have to continue to focus on the African continent, as well as there have been repeated reminders over the last 4 years to focus on South America, as we've begun with our first ambassador in Uruguay a few years ago, who was Laura Loberg. We also need to make our way back into Eastern Europe, an area of the world that was initially involved in the ISSP and has as of late not been evident and strongly present in the society, and we would like to see it once more as a reemergence into the ISSP, and also look at the Caribbean and possibilities of extending our breadth a little bit more. There's going to be an open call for both in-person and virtual ambassador program access in the coming 4 years. As you know, we're going to have to start with virtual ambassadors until COVID ends. And then after that, we will put people on the ground and have access. And so there will be a call this fall for anyone who's interested in applying. benefit 4 is the ISSP registry and supervisory status. And this was something that was not available 4 years ago. There are other societies that have embarked on accreditations. We've embarked on a registry, and one of our mandates, with the thanks of Dr. Chris Harwood, has been to be very inclusive and ensure that we help foster capacity around the world and make this registry accessible for all kinds of aspiring and established practitioners. And so this is something we intend to grow. We intend to have more supervisors from around the world. We intend to have more international representation. We intend to have more developing and established ISSPRs in the coming 4 years, and we intend to make this a recognizable initiative and something that's highly valued and highly touted for its standards. We intend to expand our think tanks. The think tanks were a resounding initiative over the last 4 years, and thanks to Dr. Christopher Henriksen, who picked up the torch and helped us with 2 wonderful think tanks in the last cycle. What we're going to do in the next cycle is we're going to expand our topics. We will continue to expand discussions in terms of safety in sport and exercise psychology environments, and therefore not just sport, and therefore not just high performance sport, but I think we must remember that we are exercise and physical activity as well, and the ISSP needs to have that balance within it. There's going to be technological additions and access to world think tanks through a log-on process, so that people can actually come in and listen to some of these exchanges as opposed to them being in a closed room. Initially, we launched the think tank as what I believe to be the first ever think tank, bringing together multiple societies. And now, if we can have people who are from around the world, from different countries, logging in on various platforms, what we can do is we can then open up access to the discussion and the experts around the table, so that people can actually learn from them as well beyond the consensus statements. And our MC meetings are going to also have to expand, and we're going to have to look at hard to reach places as we begin to travel. Another benefit is going to be to attend and bid on world congresses. And we will be announcing, obviously, the next Congress shortly, which will be in 2025. And what we're hoping for is people who are planning already to bid on 2029. And as well, there's been some movement in other societies to do their congresses biannually. And I don't think we can do a World Congress biannually. I don't think at this point we are at that stage. However, what we can do is we can begin to plan and discuss among our managing council, perhaps, to do at least a continental sojourn into an ISSP initiative, working with perhaps the African Society of Sports Psychology or a South American society, and we will find a way to increase our offerings for congresses for both students and developing professionals. One of the things that I've come to learn over the last 4 years, I intuitively knew it in my first term in the Managing Council, which was 2013 to 2017, was that we have been working very heavily on an operational level. And with the guidance of Dr. C, we have slowly transitioned our way into becoming strategic thinkers in the leadership of the ISSP. The predicament we now face is, with all of these strategic initiatives now executed, we need operational support. And I think one of the things we have to do as we increase our treasury is to start looking at organizations and management groups to perhaps help us grow the society and help us do the operational work, so that the managing council is now free to think more and devote more of their time to strategic level initiatives as opposed to the operational day-to-day running of the society. And this is going to be a discussion that I will enter into with the new managing council almost immediately as we begin our next term. The final comment I have for you is that your vision is as important as the vision that I've just shared with you. And your vision has to be shared with the new managing council. Access to that managing council through the website will be very easy. Their emails will be listed. I will be readily available, and you can write me anytime or set up a Zoom call. And I look forward to hearing as I did 4 years ago, about some possible new initiatives and things that we may have a blind sight to as managing council members, that you have some wonderful initiatives that we have yet to consider. I think the ideas are still uncharted in terms of where ISSP can go in the next 4 to 8 years, and yet we're trending correctly. We're starting to now be ahead of the curve. Our journal is starting to be ahead of the curve. Our accreditation is emerging. Our fellow status is evident. Our ambassadors program is evident. Our think tanks are now in existence. And now we are going to look to grow and blow up this organization into something that is so profound that you cannot help but to be engaged in it. Thank you so much.